but like I noticed you had like the completely bald little mad scientist look going on at one point. Um, Now you switched up to like fur jackets and mutton chops, like masculine as fuck, but old timey with it. Like, why do you? Nothing wrong with it, but why? Why?
Okay, so actually, I'm gonna pull it back to why I got rid of my hair in the first place. I hair sometimes would like when the wind would hit it, I would start worrying about if it looked good, all this stuff. And I was working with Belial, and essentially we got to the point where he's like, "Shave your head and quit being a pussy." Like that's essentially where it got to. So I shaved my head, and like every time I shave my head now, I'm reminded of that and like let go of all the BS that's held on to you, like detach from it. So do that all the week, all that stuff, and you do that. So I ended up I used to have these, and when I would grow out my mutton chops, I would go into Wolverine mindset. Like, actually, like, when I go work out, everything else berserk, but then I'm also, like, I'd eat a lot too with it. And so I would have these on, have them off, and then when I was working on that show I was talking to you about, I had to have them off completely. And so then I got rid of them for 5 years. But then, all of a sudden, that got canceled, so the mutton chops are back, and the bald head is staying, and so are the glasses. But
Hmm,
yeah, dude, it's just kind of I couldn't have it for a long time, but they work. It gets the job done.
hmm. That works to me. Like from I don't put much work into my experience, so I feel the same way about you that I feel about girls who are always dyeing their hair.
Hmm.
Like they find some shit that looks good and switch to more shit that also looks good. I'm like, why do you keep changing? You're doing this for a reason, and I don't understand what.
Well, okay. Holy crap!
He
Um,
got locked up in another country.
and he kept on going. Okay, well, that's the thing. Like purpose. I think right there that shows he has a drive because he has a purpose. Like it doesn't matter what it is. If you were so have that much passion in what you're doing, you become unstoppable because you emblaze yourself with fire and veracity and everything else. Everything else kind of just fades away, and you're like, "This is it." And that's what I feel like for him. Like I don't know the story, but I can say this much: that's turned up, especially because you didn't stop. And I definitely would say in my journey, there's been a few points, especially with spirituality, and I guarantee you felt this, VK. Like some people might view you differently once they see that you don't walk in their ordinary ways and patterns of programming, and so then you can kind of just get kind of looked at differently and feel all cluster, just sent away from the public because you're just kind of crazy. But then you're able to really get a grounding of understanding of why you are going after what you're doing and knowing that these other levels of understanding that you're seeing with the synchronicities are actually guiding you on a higher path to where you're supposed to go. And lots of people are kind of stuck in these other mentalities and all that. So as you go forward, you're going to be shining very bright because out in the matrix, whether that's the opposing ones or other people, different faiths, and just because you're shining that light outwardly, you're going to get ostracized. And it comes to a point where like the material world maybe like you, hey, here's this. I'll give you this gold, but you have to quit your spirituality. And it's like, no, this is the most real thing to me. And I'm just crazy that stuff happens, but it does.
Yeah. So I see Marcin Pluzka in the comments too. And the in the chat, I mean. He says, "Hey, I have a question. There's a possibility my father has cancer. First, the first thought I have is Marbus, healing demon. Should I make a ritual to him? We're still waiting for diagnosis. What do you think?"
I definitely would. In fact, I have an operation going on right now with Marbos, and I would definitely say Marbos over Raphael because Raphael might have like a quote this person needs to go through this process and go through that pain versus Marbos is more of a proactive modifying modifying the body to not only get rid of that, but be able to change. I would definitely do a ritual to Marbos. I 100%.
Yeah, I've heard good things about Marbos with healing. Um, I've I've got this experimental healing right for chronic issues. Um, Marbos is one of the ones I'm thinking about calling in. Let me grab the sigils I have drawn out.
Here's my sigil right here. And I right now have his sigil attuned with all my radionics boxes to make this actual room itself a bubble of his energy while I'm in there. So I can constantly have his energy in there. Plus, I have energy being fed into it. So there's an energy exchange with it. That's just something I've had going on for a while, but I want to show everyone that. And I like these two colors associated with him. So, hell yeah.
That is absolutely beautiful. So I don't understand. So obviously we don't have a diagnosis yet, so it's hard to give proper advice. But if it's cancer, and it's really severe, I would call upon more than one spirit. Um, like I really prefer multi spirits evocations. Like I'm summoning multiple demons for the same reason. That's my. That's just how I do it. Um, Depending on the severity, Agarath's mom. Um, Ziz, he's good too. Andros, Lucifer, Phoenix, and Satanus. Satan.
That definitely needs to be clipped. That goes hard. That list right there went really hard. That was awesome. There's only a few of those I've not actually heard of. I know Lorray definitely is,
Mm.
um, and Shimyaza, and one plug in JS because it's JS, but like seriously, the right deification for your father. If I could go back in time when my dad was going through that process, I wish I would have done that. That's actually what led me to learn how to do that right deification. So if anything along those lines were to occur, I would go straight to that. So you could either learn how to do it from the
Yeah, yeah.
JS.Garrett.net or the right deification. But yeah, that or like what VK was saying, all of this multiple spirits at once is huge. Like that
Mhm.
would definitely. He said Beelzebub, like that's 100%. That's big boy status.
Don't be shy though. Like, don't be scared to summon multiple demons at once. It's no harder than. So some people like to summon no names though. This guy who was basically on his deathbed. I did the normal healing right that I sell, and I did the experimental one. And of course, you were involved. Other magicians were involved. Just dragging this guy back to life. I'm glad he's okay to see if it really does what I hope it does.
Wow. For chronic illnesses, I'm over here just like if I have my ears open for anyone that would want to have that tested for them. I mean, I've had on that, and I would just get that outwardly, expressed into a black candle of your choosing, and channeling any other spirit that you're choosing. Andros is great for healing, and he's also great for chaos. So that is definitely a double win. So Andros, I would say, would definitely help your case on the sense of revenge. That's for sure.
He's really awesome as fuck, like for destruction and stuff, Andrade. And say,
Well,
ruin this bitch's life. She tried to make you homeless, my guy.
Glacius, Labolas, Vipar, they're all jumping out.
Yeah.
Actually, those three and Andros, I'm just gonna give a little gold nugget from the Radionics and spell book that's gonna be coming out later in the fall. I don't know the specific dates, but there is a ritual I have where it's calling forth all of them, and let's just say you're off to the races. Just call them forth, visualize the way you want a certain destruction. But the number one thing out of all of it is when that candle's there, like, I don't care if you gotta yell into a pillow or what you gotta do, but get that anger out of you, because that's the number one thing I've found with all the rituals I've done that have been attack-based, you know? Even if it's like, for myself, really, if it gets out of me, I won. And I'm not saying that
People like Ignis Persephorons to fuck up horrible people.
100%,
Not
and that
only,
yeah.
Don.
Oh, I was gonna say, King Asmodee once said to me, "The only anger is that, like, for me, maybe personally, the only anger that's right is justified anger, like
Correct.
justified wrath." Yeah,
That's
because then you can
facts.
really, then you can super empower what you're doing. Otherwise, you're going into something with some weird intent behind it, and like you might be able to still swing, but there's some muck going on in there, and that's what can really fuck people up, and especially baneful rights in particular.
Right. The gods will like actually gods, demons, angels, all them. They have different rules, but like if you try to put a curse on someone who doesn't deserve it, and like the entire problem you have with him is your fault, the gods will bitch slap you. They won't just refuse, bro. They will punish you. They're like, all right. Their main goal is to help you learn.
Yeah,
But
yeah. Well, go ahead.
so if you're doing fucked up shit, they'll make sure you face consequences.
Sometimes even the biggest thing about like facing consequences is just you seeing your own reflection. And I think that that's like how people can become quote die every day, you know, into becoming someone better in the long term of your process, your refinement. But
Mm-hmm.
it's like when you really let that shit just stack and they make you stagnant. That's when I think you start doing start doing things that are not a part of your purpose and putting all your energy into things outside of your purpose that maybe you'll get what you want, but you don't see the extra consequences with it. And that's something too. People just do magic through a process of feeling. And don't get me wrong, emotion is one of the most powerful things about magic because
Facts.
you're expressing that and pushing that, and then it goes in the other realms into the thing. But if you're not like really grounded in what you're doing fully, and then you're pushing that, like, okay, I'm gonna get deep on this one. I don't give a shit.
Go ahead.
I saw one of my early things with magic was love magic because I had no self fucking esteem. I had zero self esteem, and you know, eventually spirits taught that. But
Mm-hmm.
to desire to be with someone that they will not hang out with anyone, they only think about you, they'll do all these things. All it really does is make someone who, like, deep down inside hates you and doesn't like you, and, like, that just, puts the problem outside of yourself, and that's misdirecting your energy, your time, your purpose, and then you're also pulling in all these outside forces and all that. And you know, the funniest thing I got to learn was from Salos, and he told me to get this girl back who I was obsessed with doing all this magic with to begin with. He said, "You want to get her back? Quit smoking cigarettes." Because at the time, like, I was a problem in my life, and
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
like, "Okay, yeah, dude, 3 weeks, and then she'll get back." Yeah, man, for sure. And then after 3 weeks, I'm like, "Okay, I quit." When's she coming back? He said, "I just helped you out as a person. She's trash, and you need to get your life together." And I was like, "Okay, all right, all right." So that's something too. Like, these spirits do care. In my opinion, that was a pivotal moment in my life. I was like, if these spirits didn't care about my essence and such, they would have kept me with someone that would be atrocious, drain my life force, my resources, wreck my life to a point where I would commit something, you know, egregious and off or whatever. I'm not gonna say because we're on YouTube, but
Mhm.
that didn't happen. Instead, I learned self-respect and changing the way I thought and developing who I am instead of, you know, I have a lacking because I don't have another piece to the puzzle. So that's something too. So awesome, hail to the demons.
Hell yeah. Um, to be clear, I've done love spells too. That's why I advocate, like, I mean, coercive love spells. That's why I advocate against them. A,
Yeah.
they're immoral, obviously. B, the demons you call on are going to use your attempt as a teaching opportunity. It'll go badly for you, badly for them, and it's wrong.
Yeah, and honestly, something too that really hit me hard, like, because I've had people hit me up asking about if I do anything, baneful rights and all that, and it's like, "You're on my Patreon and you hit me up and you're on a top tier and there's actually a purposeful cause," and maybe, but even then, I'm still saying maybe. Like, I really don't like to get involved with that because someone's like, "I'll pay you X amount of money so that these 2 people will break up and then they can come in and get with them," and I'm just like, "Look, you gotta understand, so much is gonna shift in their life, you're not just affecting them, you're affecting their family, you're affecting, like, the other person's mental health. That person, like, you there's so many ripples and so much pain that certain people have to go through for weeks, maybe months, in order for that perfect opportunity for you to get yourself involved, and that to me, after, freaking 2 days or 3 days, that's when I would start feeling icky about the shit, and that's eventually why the spirits are like, "What are you doing?"
There was one
Yeah.
guy I heard about who did he was doing coercive spells to try and force women to fuck him.
Mm.
So he was like a sex addict. That was his thing. So that's what he was doing. He was, you know, he wasn't young. He's older than me. So he had plenty of time to know that he shouldn't be doing that sort of thing. Like, it's been years and years since I ever tried that.
Mm.
I learned and I would never repeat it. Spirits make sure I knew better, you know? But he, older than me, and I'm 30, was trying to do that all the time. And the fucked up part is the demons would actually get him laid. And they would make the sex suck.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah. Like, they would, he would be saying, bro, the sex sucked, and he couldn't explain why. It just sucked in some intangible way. That's that's the thing about demons. They're teachers. They're
Mm.
like, okay, this hoe you want me to force to fuck you ain't no witch, so they could give a fuck about her. We should as humans, but like they don't care. This person, they've watched this person reincarnate 8 times, but they're like, okay, you summon demons. I care about you, and I'm gonna make you better the hard way.
Oh, that's it's crazy because so for the radionic spell book, I was finishing up all my things, and there's one video left. I was just thinking, I was like, man, I really don't want to do a love right for this book. Like, I really don't. But then I was like, man, you know what? If someone really wants it, if they want it, I'm gonna give it to them. And I did it all. I made the thing, and I made it all authentic. And then, like after like a week of the thing that you create, I was like, I feel way too much energy on that. It is way too much. Like I'm gonna have to go burn that. I'm happy I did it, but like I'm good. Like it was like I was like, yeah, it was for everyone. I used all the energy I could for it, but at the end of the day, man, there's just like a I don't know. It's there's this type of feeling about the stuff too, and like that's the big thing about King Bella that I did a year long pact with him, and he basically was showing me like you got to think things not like as a day by day, but you can even think about you're hooking up with someone, they could maybe have something if it's a quick hookup. Or is it
Yeah, yeah.
long term? Or is this person going to be a sneaky roach and try to get close to you and drain you of all your resources? And just because of your lust that was all doing all that. Instead of thinking about like my week by week, day by day, like really have a scope of like think about next 2 years, and is this person gonna be able to get involved with that and those visions and the quest that you're on, basically? And do you want to do that with an individual or all that? And that's kind of the line I'm at. I'm like, I don't even really. Yeah, sometimes here and there, it's like, yeah, let's go find someone to hook up or something. But most of the time, I'm just kind of on the no fap, to be honest. Holding that energy in and then building that up for a ritual, honestly, like that's like the best way, like every month or something like that. But building up that energy, and I also find it helps me like kind of just keep going, like a nonstop, like the Energizer Bunny. But there are some negatives, I'll definitely say, like, you're just like, "Oh,
Mm.
man, um, I have all this energy and I'm always in go," and if, like, you're not doing, like, qigong or tai chi and stuff, and I'm not even saying I do it a ton every day, just do a small fraction, but just doing something like that is a good way to help out those energies and stuff flow, and then doing magic, but that's also a different type of lifestyle too that, I do think does help people out, but then people could also do tantra sex, which is another level of like, do manifesting stuff. So I've never done that. Have you ever done something like that?
Wait, can you repeat the question?
Have you ever done anything like with tantra, like with an individual, like for manifestation? Like,
Actually, no. Um,
yeah.
so I have a weird when it comes to sex and spirituality. One sec. Okay, so my I don't talk about this much, but my patron demon, she's a woman. Anytime I fuck a woman, she experiences intimacy with me through her,
Hmm.
whoever I'm fucking. It's some weird shit. Like, she told me that years ago. Didn't make any sense to me. Shove it to the back of my mind. Wind up with a drunk ass fellow Luciferian he's just drunk as shit. He's like, yo, Bale's coming through. He wants to possess my drunk body. I'm like, let him. He goes, like, Bale takes hold, and Bale's mad. And now he's influenced by the alcohol in the vessel's system. And he's talking about, you keep forgetting every woman is her. And I'm sitting here like, I don't know what that means. Then I remember what my patron demon said to me. I'm like, shit, I forgot. My patron demoness experiences intimacy with me whenever I fuck someone. When I get pussy, I am not focused on spiritual shit. I'm focused on pussy, bro. I ain't focused on shit. I kept
That
forgetting that this phenomenon that keeps happening for me is the thing. One time, I fucked a fellow witch, female. Um, Gotta specify that since I'm bi. But like, yeah, yeah. Um, she comes over. She's psychic as fuck. Like phenomenal tarot reader. Decent spellcaster too. Great psychic, you know?
Mhm.
She comes over. I fuck her brains out. I did not mention the thing about my patron to her. Right?
Yeah.
The next day after she's like staying in the apartment for 4 days, right?
Mhm.
She's traveling, like she's like staying here. Um, the, After we fuck, she hears my patron demon. She just hears some female voice, has no idea why, has no idea who it is. That female voice says, "Do you want to fuck him again?" She's like, "Who are you?" And yes. And then my patron went, "I bet." Floods her shit with sexual like energy, makes her horny as hell. Now, from my perspective, I'm just smoking a cigarette, paying attention to nothing, and she's just on me again. I'm like, okay, we're on it, we're doing it. So,
Holy shit.
yeah. The next day after that happened, I'm like, hey, just remembered my patron does the thing I described. She's a witch. She's psychic. I should probably tell her that for the purpose of informed consent, you know? Then she detailed to me the experiences I just described.
Oh my god. Well, that's badass as shit that she was able to have that psychic experience, you know? It could like someone who's just normal or whatever, they might not like I don't know, they just might be like, "Yeah, I just stood up and then got really horny again," you know? But then for someone to actually have that psychic energy to it, like that's something really special. And that's something too, like I've never dated someone that also is on that same level with the shit.
Mm.
And I know that, like, just working with spirits, you change your magnetic frequency. You do change as a person, and so sometimes it can be more divided because of that. And also, I find like like being authentic is like one of the number ones with working with spirits,
Oh yeah.
100%. And so speaking truthfully, why not take that to my reality? And so with personal communications, business partners, being forefront like that's gonna avoid potential conflicts between them.
I think it is a compliment when a demon opens up to me about their personal drama. You know,
Mhm.
it's
Mhm.
rare. Um, the issue I have with the conflict is not only have I never summoned two demons and seen them fight about shit. Um, it's very rare for me to hear about anecdotally as well.
Mm. I've personally never experienced any problems between any spirits. I mean, I've heard like Duchess Bune and King Paimon aren't exactly on the greatest of terms. I don't understand. I've never summoned them both. I just heard that as a thing, but I could see like Ladalock from I believe it was Kingdoms of Flame and Astarte. I could see how those two could be conflating because one's about like enslaving women, the other one's about helping out women, empowering and all that, like true love versus lust, desire. And so I could see how those two could be a little bit, just by their who they are as they stand as characters, but I don't think for the most part any of that really is gonna cause too much drama.
Yeah, yeah. Now with humans, we might we might have to pick sides in some dumb bullshit in the afterlife, though.
Well,
Like
unless I mean, there could be multiple different choices, dude. There could be
there are.
come back, ascend, join me, or like even I think the vampire current. That's why I'm not too deep into that because I wouldn't want to be a vampiric undead lord. Like I just personally that's not exactly a level. I'm going more like the Mr. Manhattan level. I'm trying to find that whole situation.
Yeah,
Oh, we got JD Temple in here. What's going on, JD?
found him. Did he said, yo, what's up, my brothers? Great to see you.
Nino, what's going on? You find that even they're possible to work with and they're deep in the underground caverns. What is your thoughts about giants?
So I said, okay. He was the most like I just really guided him through a ritual, and I was new as fuck. This was forever ago. I had like so little experience, man. But he was channeling shit like the fucking oracle at Delphi from the start, bro.
Damn.
And one day, the Watchers came when they felt he was ready. And they said, "Hey, you heard that shit about us having descendants? You do. And you are one. They're family to him. Like, he's family to them.
Well, that's the thing I believe about the spirit is there's like connections. There is that family, and there is actually a divine connection from previous incarnations if you are a sorcerer and you've worked with a spirit before. And I definitely see that as like sometimes everything just makes so much sense. Like in the 2020, because you look back and you're like, oh, that's how I got pulled to doing this and pulled to making that. Like I was obsessed with Spawn as soon as I was conscious, like that was what I liked, and then now I see the magic I do, and I'm like, oh, I'm just trying to basically create the powers of Spawn, like the
Mm.
black web armor, that whole situation. But like that was like one thing that's like I look back, I was like, oh wow, it's almost like that was a way to be able to encapsulate something I got pulled to. But like the Watchers and such, like what they've been able to help me do, especially with that master key. And you've used JS's master key before?
It's on
Oh,
my
he's
neck,
got
bro.
it. Okay, yeah. Oh yeah. See, that thing is like help me connect to animals. Even if it's like Duchess Buno and I didn't have her sigil on hand, I'd just draw that sigil out and connect to her. Even I even worked with Goku from Dragon Ball Z using that sigil, and it actually gave me
Mm.
fruitful results. And that's like what I love about that key is like from shamanism to egregores to spirits. If you don't have anything else but you have this, you still have like even if you're just getting into magic, you have this, you can really kind of start anywhere. And then you go in that direction, and then like for me, Kelfador, I believe is the raven, the totem of the raven spirit,
Mm.
and I got a sigil from him about like so how to connect to him directly versus the master key. But that is just another way, like in the Watchers, like what they have done for me has opened up job opportunities, kept helped me out keeping jobs, helped me be able to expand in many different forms, from sorcery to just um, way of expression. Like that was Shinyaza, like really helps out with helping you see to forge your divine path, because you're like, oh, I understand my purpose here and what I'm doing, and this isn't just working with these spirits for my own just menial things. Like obviously here and there there's certain things, get gold to be able to do this, but when you have a bigger purpose, and I feel like more spirits do magnetically get pulled to you
Mm.
because you're like, oh, we vibe with that because we're also about that you're trying to do. So how's my ADHD taking over right there?
No, no, that's good. That's good.
No, I know.
So I'm having an ADHD moment too. You mentioned Kingdoms of Flame earlier. I have
Mhm.
not read that or used it at all. Have you worked with the magic of that book? How much?
I'll say intermediate in the sense of probably I've read all the different names of the spirits. Right now, I couldn't name a ton off the top of my head, but I will say I'm pretty sure that's where Santola comes from.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, okay. Then that
Wait,
book
wait, wait,
it's
wait. I think Santalak is from the Book of Azazel. Is he the
that's what
wealth
I was
spirit that?
thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. He makes okay. That one I have way more because it's more of the Watchers. Like that one, I definitely have more
Mm.
experience with. The other one, I definitely think I've worked with like a couple different spirits from it, but there's nothing like I couldn't sit here and tell you guys too much about that. Like I might just see you announce it. I know Ladalox from there. That was because one time I tried to fish her down, and then that's where it came down to. And I was like, okay, I know she's from there. And then there's a spirit I don't even honestly, I'm not even gonna speak of them. I'm actually
Mm.
gonna wait to speak about that one.
So, like, would you have any interesting experiences to share with Lanalok, or
Yeah.
like should I just drop that subject? Because like I got a lot of shit I don't know. No one in my audience is gonna think of you for having to say I don't know
Oh,
shit about this particular.
oh no, I know. So her, okay, I'll tell everyone this for sure because I worked with her a couple times, and one sometimes just get to know her, but she's really intense in the sense of, okay, well, this kind of reminds me of what she looks like. I don't know if you guys can see that. Yeah. Well,
We
the
can see
light
it.
relief. Okay. So I would say that's pretty good. That's not her idol, but that's pretty good representation.
Mm.
And she definitely so the experiences are like so like the recent thing I did, it was with a bottle and a couple other different ripple effects. And just for one experience that could be great, it's gonna end up having a lot of other added effects that I was being able to see in the long scheme. So it was like Lilacs, like, oh, here's the thing that you would want. But then I started seeing like, oh, well, adding that into the whole situation, I might not want anything after that, and then I might have to deal with them and have this repercussion or that. So you will get what you want, but just be like I said, be very wary because these spirits will be like, oh, like Asmodee with the a pendulum, like,
Mm.
hypnosis, like, "Here, follow your lust towards this person," which it ends up making you be like, "Wow, I don't even want lust with that person," and it pulls you to a whole new place where you're like, "I can't believe I'm here, but thank you for the gnosis and help me evolve." That's what makes, like, honestly, working with the spirit so great. Like, it's not, "This is the path." It's very unique to the person. A spirit might have one taste, but that taste in my mouth might be gross, and for you, it might be extraordinary, and
Yeah,
then vice versa. And people have to also understand that too. Like Andros, I could feel the rage like on the being, but I don't see the rage towards me. But if someone was a piece of shit and did a working and tried to work with them, they might feel like, oh, why is he kind of shitty at me? Well, maybe because you're kind of a shitty person.
exactly. That's facts. Yeah, like the reason demons don't help people win the lottery, they want you to improve,
Mm.
and they expect you to improve. Like they expect you to fuck up. Like no one's perfect. They know that. I know that. But if you fall into a consistent pattern of fuckery, then you're gonna lose their support, especially if you. So, given that I don't know the person who asked this, it's kind of hard to guess why she's having trouble. But one
Mm.
possibility, wearing like silver, like the middle, not the color silver. This is the color silver, not the metal silver. Um, Wearing silver jewelry really gets in the way of vampirism. Copper does the opposite. Um, Another possibility is someone put a binding spell on you to keep you from harming others for whatever reason they thought that was necessary. And I'm not saying that this person deserves that. You know, it's a possibility.
Do you think that wards, in special places, like whether it's around your house, especially also in your temple or vehicle, do you think that those negate a lot of negative energy, or do you think that those are just kind of meh?
I've got wards. Um, for example, there's wards around this apartment, and they'll fuck you up. I They actually fucked someone up recently. Um, Weirdly enough, I swear on God, I know for a fact this happened. Like I've got witnesses and proof. Someone, another professional, is trying to kill me. And he decided to plant a goth chick as a spy to act like she wants to fuck me and report shit back.
Whoa.
Yeah. I gotta tell you the story in private. The whole thing is crazy as shit.
No, that's good. Well, you know what? That's something about going out in public, by the way, when it comes to this stuff. Like, sometimes it does put a target. Like it can, honestly,
Yeah.
and that's why like there's different things that like wards and radionics, natural water, and fresh air. Mishap, but then again, they're hiding our history, and that's something huge that I just feel like about magic that makes it so intriguing is as you go farther back in time, and look, they're already tapping into magic. And as we're going forward, they're trying to keep you from your grassroots. And they've killed people, the Inquisition, they've killed people with just like the burning witches, crusades, it doesn't matter. Like there are so many things on hiding the information. And so going public can also be another thing, but I do feel like this is the side of truth. And it's not, I'm not saying it's a good side. I'm not where you're saying I'm on a good team, but I am saying I'm not on the bad team. I'm not on the imperial side, aka the Roman Catholic Church. And so,
Mhm.
I'd rather be the anti-hero than, I get that once where I don't know if I'm able to tell their name, but a pretty significant influencer who does black magic was offered millions of dollars for them to convert to Christianity. And they're like, "No, I'm not gonna do that." Like, but oh, you can get millions of dollars by saying you change as a person. And it's like, dude, you would get so much backlash. Like, it would be the spiritual backlash, and plus, as a person, like, I don't know, that's just crazy to me. But there are people probably would do that. Anything for a couple $1,000,000, what they'll do on OnlyFans nowadays,
Yeah.
dude, that's crazy to me. Oh god, but
Bruh, have you ever had a bestie or a partner who's an OnlyFans model?
no, no, I couldn't do it, honestly, dude,
I get that.
I couldn't.
The ones who do custom, for me, like, I'm not immune to jealousy or nothing. Like, neglect makes me jealous. And that's really it. Like, I can do open relationships and she can dress however. I I need to be treated well, you know?
Mhm.
So, OF models don't talk about this much, but they get paid to do weird shit. Have you ever heard of the gigantus kink?
No, no, no.
Bruh, people are paying these hoes to act like they're giants. Not Nephilim, but like huge humans. Like,
Futurama?
yeah, 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 that type of thing. Like huge humans. And their fetish is being eaten by a huge human. Bruh, some of these hoes have tiny little toys to act like they're eating someone.
That's what I'm saying. There's someone making millions of dollars doing stuff like that, and then just shaving their asshole or having sex and selling themselves out completely, dude. Or, dude, honestly, I'm not for or against Hawk to a girl. I'm just saying she got fired from her job, but she sold over a couple $100,000 worth of merch. I'm just
Sure.
saying it just takes one statement and you can become someone brand new. But when you're speaking
Mhm.
about truthful things, it's crazy because on my shorts, I get way more views because I'm usually not like going so hardcore and stuff. My long term videos where I'm like really diving into some, whether it's a product or some, whatever the case is, it's always a low count because the people who are behind the distribution or how video takes off or doesn't take off. It's not about how shiny it is. It's not about anything else other than the person behind that desk. And so
Yeah.
a black magic ritual that you also should keep, something I need to be doing more is you're influencing the person who's going to see your stuff and see if they distribute it. Do a magic spell on that person instead of the people that watch it and see this all the time. Because who gives a shit? Like I have some one of my favorite music videos has got like fucking nothing on it, and I think it's spectacular. And then a video that's stupid as hell that I did for 1 minute on a remix got 500 views, and I'm doing nothing. I'm speaking nonsense for 15 seconds. So there's that, and then the sexualization. But I do feel like that's gonna really screw up the people. I mean, someone that's a simp might be fine with their chick, like like having an OF and being nasty with it, bro. I'm talking being nasty with the shit. Like there's some I know this one girl has been with she hooks up with guys to take away their virginity. And she's been like
Huh.
over 200 people. And she made like it was like $250,000. And this guy has her on her podcast. And he's like, "Well, do you find yourself to be a hoe?" She's like, "No, I just help people out with their sex life." I'm like, I don't know, man. Like, I don't know the story being spun, but it's just a crazy culture, man. That's all I can say. But the spirits
Yeah.
help you redefine and see through that bullshit, which does make it a little bit more, I'm not gonna say lonesome. I wouldn't call it lonesome, but I will say, like, as you go deeper down this path, you find out a lot of the same old bullshit programming, and then you see that same character model in different people, and then even some of your closest friends, you start to see, fuck, they are not attributing to my success. They're actually being a leech just a little bit, but they are taking a little bit of my life force, and that is a problem.
Yeah. As for the OF models, um, in general, my life advice is try to do what's best for you. It might take some experimentation, but sex work is for specific types of people. I've met women who like were prostitutes, like they were getting railed, like they had a whole sugar daddy that they legit were attracted to and enjoyed fucking, and they were getting paid for it too. That's crazy. However, I've met women who they tried to be a prostitute. They fucked someone. Like, it was this chick, like, she talked to me about the guy who was looking to pay to fuck her. She really was into him. But fucking for money just hurts her soul in some way. Like, it's really wild, like, how different sex is for everybody. That girl went and met up with the guy she was legit attracted to, took money for sex, and hated every second of it. Whereas, like, another girl I knew, she was a freak, whole freak. She's actually getting fucked for money and actually having orgasms. Certain things are just not for certain people. Like, if you are
Mm.
not comfortable doing sort of things, don't. And if you want to be a sex worker, there's certain things you have to accept. Eventually, one way or another, if you're successful, your friends will find out. Not when you like it, not how you like it, but they'll find out at random. Your family will find out too. If you're ready for that, go right ahead. You have my respect. If not, don't fucking do it.
Well, that's
And if you
once again when it comes to, dude. Sorry, I interrupted you. It's just being authentic. If you're gonna do it, there's no point to hide it. That's what I don't like. It's you get in a relationship and then you find out that's what they do. You know.
right, right. Yeah, there is an ethic. I've seen unethical conduct where like they try to hide the fact that they post sexy pics and whatnot to trick someone into dating them. Men do similar things where like they trick people into dating them their own way, but that's all wrong.
Hmm. And it does come back down to like, what's your angle? Yo, what's your angle, kid? Um, yeah.
Right? Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
your one ritual I wanted to inform everyone about the was Santa Muerte. If everyone didn't
Yeah.
already hear about it, but I did just want to touch base on that one again. That I had a internal pain like on my back, my shoulder,
Mm.
and when you were doing after you had done that ritual, it felt like in less than 24 hours, I had that problem starting taking steps and getting fixed. and the process of it all, like, moving and being resolved. But what I also the big thing was with working with Santa Morte, I've only worked with her a couple times, and each time was very sacred. Like one time was her pulling me to go to Soul Quest to do ayahuasca, and on my way after I left there, and I had talked with her there. The first place I walked into, I've never seen, had the Grim Reaper everywhere and a lion, which is Orias, and I work with those too. But her presence when you did that working, it didn't just heal and bring that wellness, but it also had me have a reflection of like how I was misusing my body and better ways to have more restorative mind mentality. Like, maybe you should start taking this B12 vitamin and some more fish oil. And like adding kind of like here's a rejuvenation, but here's also a different way going forward with her prescriptions, So I just wanted to touch that one again because that really helped me out during that time period, and I heard from a couple other sorcerers that you did that for them, and that's some badass shit, man.
Yeah, yeah. Now that I know I can heal the sick and injured, I'm trying to see how much of a change I can make. You know, like how far can I take this healing thing? I've got these sigils. Just need people with chronic health problems to volunteer. So for me, obviously, a lot of the shit that I get asked to heal is shit I haven't heard of. I'm a dropout and shit. Um, so I don't know about a lot of these health problems. I need to Google it, read about it a little bit. As long as I know who I'm helping and have a basic idea of what I'm helping them with, that spell works every fucking time. I hope this is that good. I can't imagine
Well,
chronic pain.
I mean, you having that many lists of wellness spirits, we can call them, and the compilement of all, I don't know if it's all of them together, your compilement, the formula of it. But dude, I already think that in of itself is gonna open up a spirits energy today. Uh,
Yeah, yeah, I've heard about that. Um, the leader of the last occult organization I followed, Razareth, he told me, like, I was talking to him, just talking casual. Like, it was just small talk. I was talking to him about my thyroid problems and the medication I take from that. He's like, you can put your meds on a sigil of Dranamarsh, a Mayor's Ryan spirit, Dranamarsh, Lord of
mhm.
Disease. And that you can actually use those meds you're prescribed to permanently cure your shit. I have reasons I didn't do it, but I know it's possible to like enchant meds and take them, you know?
Oh,
You can
for
actually
sure.
even enchant beer.
Oh, and water. I mean, water is the biggest one in the world. Actually, let me show you all of this. And I have to hop off in like 10 minutes.
Mm.
And we're definitely gonna have to do this again because honestly, I can't believe time's already flown by like that.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh, Listen, dude, I really appreciate being on. But this coffer, actually, you put things in here, and I got a ring in here, and it has pyrite pyramids. They're at on different geographical locations to get as much energy, like on ley lines and such. And so them centered there and the way they build that, it creates this energy called pyrite. It's pyramid energy. I believe they use that to change the inner organics of each person's consciousness as well as make electricity in the city. But I just go on to
Mm.
say that because this box has, I guess, like the same exact technology inside of it, and it supercharges whatever you put in here. And I'll do that with my vitamins, and then take that. And this, like with this ring, like if I put it on now, like I can already now feel that energy. I'm not going to keep that on because then I feel a certain way. But yeah, I think that you can really enchant and put energies into everything, and even like your intent on maybe you have to spit. He could like say for prosperity and luck, and then spit. Like really small, even small things in your life. Now it can get a little bit out of hand. I've seen it in my own life where I'm like, oh, okay, I can't see that dime upside down over there, and then hear a bird cackle over there at the same time. I might trip yourself up, but synchronicities and omens are always taking place. You just got to be aware of them, and don't ever like. Honestly, I kind of put it as sometimes it's for good, sometimes it's to look out, sometimes it's just to say hey, and I don't really judge it. I just kind of allow it, and then not worry about it so much. You have up certain safety measures, then you should have no problem going announcing it to the world what you do. But if you're not authentic and you also don't have your defense measures up, then that's kind of on you. And that's just kind of the way the game rolls. And it's very unfortunate. You'd think like it would be like hardcore judo Christians that are like attacking, but really it's just people hidden in the darkness too that are. In all honesty, they should quit wasting energy attacking other people that are successful and talking about things, and just put all that energy into like some wealth magic and some work
Mm-hmm.
with King Paimon, gain his experience in ways that you can vocalize, and also be able to see in your vision the ways to take your next steps towards bigger goals and expansion. Like seriously, instead of like quit wasting time attacking other people for pointless shit. Like it doesn't matter, and not everyone likes I used to have a ritual. I used to do the juggernaut with the chicken, and when the opportunity comes,
You had to go. I remember that. But I got to ask one more thing.
yeah.
What's this black web armor you talk about? Apparently, you do
Oh,
it professionally.
yeah.
Serviceable.
Yep, yep. Oh, the black web armor is a creation with Lugala Beatabur and myself, and it's basically like if you've seen Spider-Man, the symbiote. It's that
I knew it
creation.
was the Spider-Man thing. Go on.
So that symbiote thing that goes like over yourself, it's also a spawn because it's able to not only adjust and adapt to whoever the wearer is of it, but like let's say you specialize in a certain magic, that armor is going to help you uh, to become more potent in that specific spell. Like it's a nonstop growing armor that helps you be able to keep on like chiseling and becoming a sharper individual, as well as attack and defend. But it does have its own life force in the sense of you could talk to it and name it, and it will like be like that of venom, and it can help you extend your like astral tentacles. And I've seen that for the good, and I've also seen that where I was like, I'm gonna get that person's attention, and then it kind of terrified the person, and then they left. And I was like, oh, okay, well, let's be a little cautious of that. But it's really good for attack, defend, and then you could super empower it with like, let's say you wanted to have Belial's energy engraved within that. It will super empower Belial's energy over you onto that armor, and you can almost keep hacking the armor, adding different things to it for yourself, and it will get stronger. And then you don't have to have all that energy pushing into yourself. It can be your armor, and that's essentially it. But yeah,
Mm.
it's definitely one of my favorites, and you'll definitely feel energy different the next day. And some people, they have had the exact same, like, they talk to it, they've seen it work on the astral, and they've done a ton, and other people, they've just felt it, and it goes over them, and then it doesn't talk, it doesn't move, it's just like an astral armor. So, dude, I'm, like, really excited to hear your experience with it, and what color it is, like, everything is so unique. So, yeah, dude, it's actually, it was my first ritual for hire I had outside professional.
Interesting.
um, yeah, but the gall of birds is shit. And one of his attributes is literally like making the acuity of a person to be that of a fencer, and the mindset of a king chess player, and like it's these type of things. So that armor also has that integration inside the things that you are passionate about. As you get better at them and work with this armor and just have it on you, and you're progressing in your life, it kind of feeds off of that energy to keep improving you. So to me, it is a cycle. It keeps adding that cycle of energy. So Definitely can't wait to hear your thoughts on that, man. Thanks for asking about that.
You're very welcome. Jesus, that's actually really creative. Like my first ritual service was the Gothic soul empowerment. My idea was to do a ritual that any Satanist would want. Your idea was to copy the supervillain Venom in real life. To be fair, I'm not saying that like disrespectful. Like J.S. Garrett and I both copied the anime Death Note. There's nothing wrong with taking some inspiration from pop media.
Dude, me doing the Juggernaut right is copying the Super Saiyan. Let's just put it that way. Like that.
That's
So,
crazy.
yeah. So there are integrations of like different. That's the thing with magic and everything else. Like everything overlays, and so it's like, why not add that energy to the ritual?
That's
Because
crazy.
yeah,
Go on.
I'm going Super Saiyan. Okay. But dude, no, we're for sure gonna need to go live again. I like really, I'm like
Definitely.
honored to be here. Like, thank you for having me. Thank you, audience. I'm sorry if our eyes weren't on. You can blame me. Yeah, my eyes were not on the. I did my best, but I do know maybe we're good. Maybe we did great.
We
Maybe we
actually
did
did
great.
great. But anyways, have a great night. We are Venom and enjoy your immortality.
Oh, see it, bro.
Adios.